Many South Africans waiting with bated breath to see how MPs will vote in Parliament today on the Appropriation Bill. Earlier, the Chair of Parliament's Standing Committee on Appropriations, Doctor Maimane, made his own contributions. Speaking now is the EFF's Maimane. We'll continue to reflect on those sentiments, but let's bring in Doctor Maimane, who joins us now via our video link. Lovely to see you, sir, and perhaps I should start by saying congratulations are in order, as we heard in the National Assembly today, on your doctorate. Certainly inspirational stuff, given, I imagine, the many things on your plate. But onto the business of the day around this Appropriations Bill. We've, used this past process around the budget to, I think, educate the public around what steps actually need to be taken before the budget is ultimately adopted. And perhaps let's start there. Help us place today's proceedings and their significance before Budget 2025 is finally passed.
Thank you, and thank you very much for your congratulatory note. I think it's important to look at three aspects when we look at the budget. The first is it starts with a fiscal framework which lays out what is then in fact going to happen in the country. How do you raise revenue? How do you deal that? And many South Africans will remember the discussions around VAT. It then moves immediately towards what is then a division of revenue bill, which then says to all of us, how is money spent across the three spheres of government: national, provincial, and local? And then today is the last part of that leg, which is the Appropriation Bill, which looks at just the national budgets and the national departments, and it's split across 41 votes. So 1 being the presidency, 2 being parliament, 3 and so forth, health, education. And so today what the MPs are going to be doing is voting on each of those individual votes and then voting collectively on the bill, and noting the fact that if a vote, any of those votes from 1 to 41 does not pass, then the bill cannot stand. And so today is a significant day in the last part, because if we fail to not pass this last bit, it means on the 1st of August, departments will only have 10% to spend.
Goodness. And of course, there's no overstating the impact that will have on service delivery, especially in places where this is already faltering. What then becomes the message, do you reckon, from yourself as the chair of this committee, and as a leader of, of Bold One South Africa? And I'm asking this question off the back of other parties already coming out, including the MKP, saying they're not going to support this bill.
Well, I think the first thing is we've got to articulate the priorities of South Africans. South Africans do not care so much about the process. They care. They have doctors, they have police, they have safety. That's what they care about. And it would be irresponsible for people who take their oath to defend the Constitution then to fail the provision or the financial means to meet the constitutional obligations, which are the provision of health, education, safety. The second thing is the GNU must articulate its priorities. We really can't be going through multiple versions of the budget. Even now, it is at this late hour that we are considering the budget. And then the last thing I would say is that today, let us prioritize South Africans. Yes, this is not a perfect budget. Yes, this budget has many underfunded instruments. But at the end of the day, it is a budget that we have that we can amend and build in the medium term. So my urgency is to all political parties is to set, because poverty does not know the color of your political party. Unemployment doesn't know that. What it requires is for us to pass the budget, and then we can move from here.
All right, Mmusi Maimane, thanks very much indeed for your time. I know you have to pop back into the National Assembly because you're part of this particular setting, so appreciate your stepping out to give us your take in this way. Dr. Mmusi Maimane, of course, is the Chairperson of Parliament's Standing Committee on Appropriations, also the leader of Bold One South Africa.